very happy to say I'm very pleased, very happy that I took the full course. I appreciate you so much, Anna. You've changed my life in the last 3 days, and it's going to change forevermore after this. And so many people will be impacted from this, not just me, but my children, their children, my wife, the people I run into on a regular basis at work, the employees, customers, everyone I come in contact with. I'm in a place now. I've been working in the banking industry for a long time, and which has been great. But in order to do more, to get more, to do a job that would pay me more, so I can take care of my family, I need to get over this. I cannot continue trying to hide this and trying to cover it up, hoping that no one hears me. I need to learn how to speak so I can speak, and so I can express all this knowledge that I've gained. I'm noticing that there's not a lot of avenues for me to go, and there's not really anything better for me if I don't learn to speak clearly. So I get blocked. So there are times where, I think I know what I want to say, and it either doesn't come out of my mouth, it gets caught in my throat, because I'm just not speaking. My focus is on trying to think through what I would like to say, and I'm trying to think through what I'm doing physically, which is stupid. And I end up not speaking. I end up blocking the air from coming out of my throat. I tend to feel like I don't have enough breath. I don't have enough air. At times, I feel like I talk too fast, and my mouth can't keep up with what I'm trying to say, nor do I really have clarity of what I want to say, because I have so many thoughts that I'm not focusing on. This is what I want to say, and I'm going to say this. What made him interested in wanting to fix people's speech and unblock people? What got him into it?
Unfortunately, no one but me understands this problem. So if I do not tell people the truth about stuttering, it will remain a mystery for another million years.
Mm-hmm. Did he also stutter at some point in time?
Yes, in school a long time ago. I was in the 7th or 8th grade.
Mm-hmm. Wow. When did he unblock himself?
Right at that time, it was not a mystery for me at all. I recognized all my speech flaws and fixed them all right away.
Wow. Wow.
I guess I'm a very unusual person since my birth. The way I see the world is quite different than other people do. What other people look at and see a big puzzle, they have no idea how to solve the problem. For me, it's very simple. I see the solution right away.
Wow. Wow.
And at times it is not easy for me to even understand what people are talking about, because they are using a lot of empty words that don't even carry any meaning. And I do see how people confuse themselves, how they lie to themselves. And they, of course, get confused with the lies they believe. So the word stuttering is the same kind of a word. It's like an empty box. Stuttering. You open the box, but there is nothing inside. It's empty.
I think I noticed mostly that he was able to slow down and take time to speak. I heard him on the phone. I heard him talk to someone on the phone that he'd never talked to before. I don't think I heard him stutter or stammer the entire evening last night.
Because what is stuttering? Terence.
It's a lie. It's nothing. It's a hole.
It's a hole from the bagel.
Oh,
you know bagel?
yes.
There is a hole inside. That's what it is.
Yes.
This doesn't exist, okay? It's just a fantasy. It's a fraud. What have you done yesterday and how did it go?
Called my mom, called a restaurant to order lunch. That was easier. That used to be a burden, Anna. That used to be such a burden for me. It was so easy, and my wife almost cried after she heard me. She said, you know, you've never done that like that before. I said, I know. I also read a story to my son. I read a story to my wife as well. I story told to my wife, and she really enjoyed that. And we also did the question and answer as well. And it was almost like a date night. It was almost like first time meeting each other, asking questions. What do you like? What do I like? Where would you travel to if you could travel? What country would you go? What food would you want to experience? And it was very fun. I called my grandpa. It was his birthday yesterday.
Oh.
Left him a voicemail though. It wasn't a conversation. Very fluent voicemail. It was very accurate. And it was easy. It was pleasant. Very pleasant to leave him a voicemail. I went shopping yesterday. Went to 3 different stores. Talked to 3 different cashiers. Had a conversation. Didn't just wait to pay. I asked them how their day was. I told one lady that she had nice hair. She had just gotten a haircut. It went very well, very easy, very pleasant, comfortable. I lived in a big home with my grandparents and my mom, my aunts and uncles, and my cousins. One big house. I feel like that's where my stuttering or stammering began because of all of the confusion I felt. And my family was not very understanding, and they made fun of every time I made an error, every time I was not accurate. They would make me more and more and more aware of that. I believe it started after witnessing my father and my mother fight, and my father hit my mom, and I was only 5 years old, and it was a cold winter day, very icy, very cold. And they were arguing, and my mom kept arguing, and he kept arguing. And my mom, she's very bold. She's a warrior, big heart, lion's heart, does not back down for anyone. But she went to him in a very threatening way, and he reacted in the same way. And I was only 5, and I witnessed that. And after that day, I didn't know how to cope. I didn't know what to feel. Different emotions. I had my hero, who was my father, who was hurting my caretaker, my loving mother. And I didn't understand, nor did I have an avenue to express myself. I felt like I had to be quiet. I felt like I had to act like it never happened for my mom's sake because of the embarrassment she went through in that moment. I expected it to happen at school, in which it did. I created something that was not alive, that was not real. And I gave it power, Anna. I gave it power to become something real that didn't exist.
You created a boogeyman.
I created it, yes.
It didn't exist, but you created it. A ghost,
Yes.
a boogeyman.
Yes. Oh, it
And
happened at school. The laughing, the mocking after I would make a mistake, after I would repeat words, after I would make sounds and would not say words. So then years went on of that, and I think it was about in 5th grade. I had a teacher, Mr. Klinger. I still know his name. Mr. Klinger was a very, very mean man. Very stern, unmerciful, ungracious, very cold man. I don't know what happened to him when he was little, but something must have happened because he just didn't like children, and he was a teacher. And that was the first time I was put in a speech therapy class, on top of the fact that he was very impatient and he would rush us to do everything, even reading. He expected us to read on a college level. And we were not college kids. We were in 5th grade.
Yeah.
And so when we would read something out loud, he would make us stand in front of the whole class and read 3 paragraphs. And within the first sentence, I would always fumble. I would always stumble. I would always have issues or errors in my words, expecting to rush, run, speed up. And there were several occasions in which he would laugh at me, and then my class would follow. Along with that, I was frequently taken out of class. It was usually a small room, external from my original class, by myself, with an unpatient therapy teacher, speech therapy counselor that was always telling me to calm down, relax, take the stress out of your throat, stop clenching your hands, relax. And there were many classes that I remember not getting anything done, saying 5 words for a half an hour to an hour.
How long did you go with speech therapist?
For only a couple of years, I would say 2 years.
Only.
Yes.
Okay.
Which was enough. After that, I still worried about the wrong things while speaking. I learned techniques. I built techniques within myself to help shadow, to help cover it, so people wouldn't notice. I would say things like and like around certain people that I was comfortable with or that I trusted. It wasn't a big problem. Phone conversations were still challenging, but in-person conversations were very pleasant.
Have you been avoiding phone conversations?
I was, yes, for a very long time. I hated them, and I work at a bank, Anna. Yes, it was very, very unhealthy, and I was afraid I would lose my job, to be honest, because more and more people were starting to realize and recognize that I had a bigger issue than what they've seen for the past 8 years.
Yeah.
I went to college, went there for 5 years, and I majored in music technology because I love music. We didn't do a lot of speaking aloud in class. We didn't do a lot of reading aloud, I'll say that. I was very scared, nervous, had anxiety to meet new people.
Yeah.
There was a day, it was my first couple of weeks at college, and there's a cafeteria. And I can remember walking to the entrance of the cafeteria, which is a long hallway. And at the end was the check-in lady or the cashier in which you pay to eat lunch, or you can scan your ID and you get free lunch. And as I walk closer to this cashier, I can hear the roaring of the students, of all these new people that I do not know. And I got halfway in the hallway and I turned around and went to go get McDonald's fast food alone by myself, so I wouldn't have to experience the embarrassment of meeting someone new and then recognizing or hearing my stammer. I worked at a restaurant my entire time in college. My first week or two, I hated it because I was afraid of stuttering. But it almost made me jump out and get used to being social, talking to people, interacting with people, and I became comfortable.
There is a saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Absolutely.
That's what happened.
Yes.
Why you switched from musical industry to the banking industry?
Because I could find a job in the banking industry. That's why. If I want to do music as a career, Nashville would be a good place. New York, LA, California, maybe Texas, but Springfield, Missouri, not the best place. And I could not afford to live elsewhere. I had student loans. I left with $80,000 in student debt. I paid $850 a month, private loans, so I couldn't adjust my term or my payment amount. And I had 6 months after graduation to start payments without any changes or mercy. So I was only working on Applebee's at the time, part-time, making, who knows, $800 a month, $1,000 a month, roughly. And I needed more income. I needed to pay for rent, food, living expenses. I had to live on my own. So I kept searching and searching, and Blue Current was the only job I found that was available, that was flexible enough to work with my schedule. I could work in the morning there, and I could work in the evenings at the restaurant and make enough money to take care of myself and pay for everything. It was very, very hard. I did not sleep much. I ate horribly. I gained a lot of weight. I was not mentally healthy. I was at a very low place. I didn't have anyone but my girlfriend, who was my wife. I was very lonely, Anna. I didn't have a lot, but I got through it. My wife and her family very much helped me a lot, from allowing me to do laundry at their house, from feeding me every so often, every other day really. I would go over and they would give me soup and bread, fruit, things to eat. I don't know why they let me marry her, because I was a bum.
Right, a bum.
I was a bum, Anna. I didn't have anything. I couldn't offer anything to her. But she loved me and I loved her. And that's all that we had. And I wanted to marry her. Didn't know how. Wasn't going to buy her a candy ring pop to ask her to marry me. Didn't have the money to buy a nice ring, to afford a nice ring. Couldn't even buy myself clothes. But I kept working, and I worked very hard, and I think her father really appreciated that I worked hard, that I valued hard work. And I think she did too, obviously. I think she saw something in me that was worth staying with.
Yeah.
So.
Work is everything we can do to help ourselves. After that one experience for 2 years in school with speech therapists, did you do anything else?
Pray. That was all I could do.
Good for you.
I did not have you. I did not trust anyone that was not like you, because I saw the holes, I saw the trap, the money pit, the lies. No, I didn't do anything. I waited until I found you. It was roughly 3 or 4 years ago. Went to your Facebook page, saw on your banner on Facebook that you can unblock people within 3 days, and that interested me. So for a long time, I kept watching your videos. I kept watching you speak. I kept watching your students. I did buy your book. I do have the speech and skill book, but I didn't read it because I couldn't read confidently, accurately. That would allow me to keep reading. Reading was hard because when I was inaccurate, I would lose hope and I would stop. It was just like opening an old wound or an old scab. Keep peeling it back. Ouch, 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 ouch. And I would just stop. I just didn't want to experience the pain anymore.
But did you at least read my free ebooks?
Nothing, no.
Wow.
I will now. I'm looking forward to that. I just kept watching you. I kept listening to
It's
you.
easier, yeah.
What you had to say, it made sense. It wasn't confusing. It was, no, she knows me. She knows what we are thinking, our challenges. She understands, and I trusted that. And I kept waiting just to find holes to see if this was real. But it was real.
Yeah.
Time after time.
Right. So when did you decide that you are going to go through the program?
Well, like you've seen, I have a child. And my wife is also pregnant with our second baby. And my wife stays home with our son. And we have decided that that's best for our family and for our kids. And that the school system and that daycare is not the best avenue. Nor does it make sense for her to work and put all of her money into daycare for someone else to raise our child. So in my current role at my current job, I make good money, Anna, but it's very difficult to live a very, very good life on one income. Our culture, our society does not cater to that. It does not encourage that. It encourages the husband and wife to live separate lives while living under one roof. So we're increasing our family. We are having more children. I cannot wait for something to be handed to me to take care of them. I have to do whatever it takes to take care of my family while I'm still young, while I still have good health and breath in my body. I have to do whatever it takes. We also own a home, and being that I work in finance, I was able to figure it out, calculate what would it take. I don't make enough money currently to pay for this course. I recognize I could take a home equity loan against my home. So it made sense. I was able to figure it out. And then the next step was doing it. And I fought, Anna. I don't know why I fought. There was a battle of self-worth, a battle of I'm worth this. This is a good thing for me. I kept hearing people in my family, and this is not, I didn't have conversations with them, but mentally, I kept hearing people in my head and my family say, why would you spend $5,000 on your speech? You speak just fine. You speak just fine. Stop worrying about it. No, I do not speak fine. It is affecting every part of my life. I have to make a difference. I have to make a change. I have to graduate. I have to transform. I have to evolve. And it was time. So I talked it over with my wife. I explained to her why this was very important. She was on board with me. She supported me. And then it was just pulling the trigger.
Basically, taking an action.
Taking action.
Again, doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with your evaluation.
I was very excited. I thought it was great. I thought it was very accurately handled. You were very reasonable. You were very intentional about what you wanted to find out about me. You had a system in place. It was very organized. I also really appreciate your sternness. When you called out things that were stupid, you would say they were stupid and BS. And I appreciate that. I need to hear that. I don't need to be sugarcoating, or I don't need to have anything glazed over or a pat on the back or it's okay. No, let's speak. Let's learn to speak, period. And you were really passionate about that, really intentional about that, about the end goal.
When you saw Roman was part of the class for a short time, so
Yes.
can you give me impression of that part, because you didn't understand Russian language, right?
No.
So what was your impression?
To be honest, I felt a little starstruck because I've always heard of him. I've seen you talk about him. Your book talks about him. So in my head, he was a famous person, which he probably is. In Russia, probably is becoming one. In America, yes. But so in my head, I've already established him to be famous. So when I saw him and he was very comfortable, laid back, his hair was down, relaxed, I was like, oh, he's very confident. But you can also see the knowledge in his mind just streaming through. It was almost like a current, just flowing. So at first it was a little intimidating to meet him, but hearing him, even though I did not know the Russian language, I heard his passion. I heard how much he cared. And going back to my speech therapist teachers who did not care, and I could feel that. They were impatient. They may have been there for a paycheck. I don't know. But I could see and experience the difference between someone who was passionate, who has devoted their life to help people like me, with someone who was not. So it was very nice to hear him, to speak to him, to learn pieces of the Russian language. Da.
Okay.
No, it was fun. It was fun, Anna.
Right.
Very fun.
And remember his analogies? His examples? They were always funny.
They were great, yes. It opened up my mind to see things a lot simpler, a lot simply. They're very simple, just so simple. It's not complicated.
Right.
After day one, I felt pleasure for the first time in speaking. I felt confidence. I knew it was real. I knew that you were real. I knew that you were real. I knew that. But experiencing it for myself was amazing. It felt good. And then I went home and spoke to my wife and saw the look in her eyes as I was talking to her. And that confirmed it that much more. And then that same day, I had a conversation with the man at the store that I told you about. I called my mom, told you about that. It was just all confirmation. It was all coming together. It was all clear. The colors were starting to form. The picture was starting to build. Stuttering was leaving my identity piece by piece.
Okay, so day number 2, yesterday.
It was also good. I'm glad that we revisited the speech modes. I'm glad that we focused on areas in which I struggled from day 1, which was reading, which I'm looking forward to continue practicing. I read this morning, like I said, for another 45 minutes, which was great. It felt good to turn the pages on it, because I have not turned pages in years. I've always read sentences and closed the book, maybe a paragraph, feeling drained afterwards.
Okay, day number 3, today.
Here we are, yes. I'm excited to experience life, moving forward beyond this, to keep speaking, to keep using my voice instrument at work. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to all of my meetings. I have so many meetings. I'm looking forward to presentations. I'm looking forward to training people now and not worrying about inaccurate speech, but being understood instead. I appreciate you so much, Anna. I appreciate you, what you've done, the person that you are, your passion. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Can't thank you enough.